And joining us now in the studio is the lead consultant, Knowledge Station International, Oluwafemi Dairo. It's good to have you join us.
Thank you so much.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Right. So what are your thoughts on this latest intervention by the president, though there's been a lot of back and forth on the issue, especially with implementation. But now that we've seen, yet another move by the government to see this through, what do you think?
I think it's a laudable concept. It's like a very good concept to a lot of crises that have been going on with the education in Nigeria. I see it as a first step to moving forward, and it's a very laudable one. It's a very laudable one.
What stands out for you in the students' loan law?
All right, looking at the law, you would want to, highlight the objectives of the law, the main reason and which the president expressly, stated that no Nigerian child should have an excuse of not going to school. Every child should not be denied quality education. Quality education. So this is like a concept to probably just eradicate an excuse and say, oh, it's because of money. And, the other one that really embodies it is to alleviate poverty. And this is, realizing that education is a bedrock, is a tool to elevate, to eradicate poverty. And I think, passing it into law is just, one of the great steps that we're moving forward.
Right.
So other people will now be asking what next. We've been talking about it, even though some people were pessimistic about it. Some are still very much pessimistic, but then that's not where I'm going yet. The thing is, people will now say, I want to go to school, I want to be enrolled. How do I have access to this student loan? Is it meant for the who is who, or is it something that is going to trickle down to the common man who definitely would want to study?
Like I said, looking at the speech that the president made, you can highlight that he said nobody, no matter how poor, so that definitely had, highlighted the fact that, we're jeering to people that cannot pay for their education, or that can be an excuse that, oh, it's because I don't have money to fulfill my dreams, so I see that as, looking at some particular class of people that needs it, and they now have no excuse because they can access the student loan now. So
right. In terms of structure, because people have also said, and the president also alluded to that, that at some time in the past, older Nigerians benefited from the student loan scheme. But for many new generation, Nigerians, especially students who are currently, spread across various, institutions of higher learning, they have never, walked this path before, where government will come and, offer some form of, interventions to help them through the financial, implications of their schooling. But in terms of structure, because, that appeared to have been tweaked, that saw the birth of this, latest Access to Higher Education Act. In terms of structure now, that it's also going to involve students who want to learn a vocation of some sort. How much of a difference do you think this, kind of move will benefit all forms of Nigerians who are in need of financial support?
Okay, so when there's a problem, the best thing is to profile solutions. So definitely there have been some crises here and there in the education sector, so we know that. So it's the government offering the students, okay, here is a route that you can take to fulfill your dreams. So I think it's in both ways for the students as well. We're looking at, okay, when you access the loan, what is the end result? So the students should also know that this is not free money. The government is not Father Christmas. So you should, they're trying to fund your dream so that you be of benefit to yourself and to the nation as well, to other people. So I see it at both sides. The government trying to say, okay, yes, this is a route to fulfill your dream so that you'll be useful to yourself, not only to yourself, but to the society, and you'll be able to solve national issues as well, because that is the main essence of education. So it's a tool to drive your dream, to fulfill your dreams, So the government is giving a route, and the students should also latch on it and not slack on it. But, there's also an end to this. So after you've accessed this loan, what is the end to this? That's why I said it's in both sides. So if there are global trends in more developed countries. You see that students are given loans and they are encouraged to study, courses that are high income or that have great impact to national development. Left to me, you shouldn't have access to a loan if at the end of the day you will not be providing the solution, you will not be useful to the economy. So it's on both sides. The government is offering a route. The students also should play their part, in latching on it. But furthermore, what is the end result of the student loan?
Okay, so you feel that, this opportunity should only be given to students who are studying specific courses. Is that what you're saying? Not
specific courses, but there should be a willingness that, okay, if I'm taking this loan, this is what I'm giving back. This is what I'm giving back. Not that you just
giving
want
back
to
in terms of skills or in terms
yes,
of contribution to the development of the country.
Yes, development of the country, which definitely comes with the skills and, your talent, because, your education is expanding your horizon. So when you go to school, the president even mentioned it, that they benefited from, this kind of, they are where they are today because of education. So every student should know that it's not just free money. It's not just, so you must do something that would empower you, and so that you'll be able to pay back the loan and also be useful for the national development.
In talking about those who will be useful for the country and contributing back to the development of the country, are you saying that this essentially will address the issue of Japa syndrome? Because that's why some people will say, okay, we don't have quality education, we don't have access to study anyway. Anyone who wants to travel outside of the country is presumed to have the money to study outside of the country. So do you feel that if you have access to this loan, because it takes so much to train a medical student in Nigeria as we speak. So, and then we have some of these medical students, after they graduate or graduated, they leave the country for, the greener pasture. So do you feel that this student loan will help to deter or to make people not find any excuse in looking for a better job better opportunities outside of the country, because they must definitely, pay back to the society, just like you've said?
Yeah, you're quite right, because if you look at why most people are leaving, is because of some challenges that we are facing as a nation. And like I said in the beginning, we can see that that it's a big crisis, and the government have identified that education is like that tool to help. So it's not probably going to be something that would happen in a snap of a finger. I'm going to try to make an analogy, because I'm an expert in mathematics. Okay. So if a school consults me to help out in mathematics because they are having low grades, it's not something that will just come in and give you a solution, a one-fit-all solution. So we look at the students. Okay, how do we help the students in this area? Then we look at the teachers. How can teachers teach better? So it's like a gradual process where systems and processes are put in place to achieve an end goal. So I see this as the big goal of Nigerian being great, of us putting back education where it's supposed to be, and people attending to national issues, national development, when you benefit and you can also help other people and solve national problems. So if we start with the student loan, I see it as a pathway, to achieving that global goal that we are looking at.
Right, but what are your thoughts on how this system of when it is going to be fully implemented, because some reports went on to say that they are now expecting the president, I think the next step now is for the president to make critical appointments into the body that will be running the student fund. And what are your thoughts now about, okay, so what needs to be done to be ensure that there are no clogs in the system? It's supposed to benefit, because now that some embargoes earlier on have been raised, like the issue of the criteria, income-based eligibility criteria of households who earn less than 500,000 naira. I believe that has been removed. That's one of the barriers that have been removed. So we're having a wider, well, we should see wider beneficiaries. But in terms of what people will call the Nigerian factor, I want you to also try and address them now. What your expectations are to see that there are no clogs, and that the people who truly need these funds are the ones that will benefit, and at the same time that these beneficiaries will not rip off government in the long run.
Yeah, you're just absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. We have to look at, the processes, and, once the government has been able to identify that, yes, this is needed, and has been able to, you can see from beginning when, this bill started, the commitment of the government, going back and forth, you can see that they are committed. So I believe that, the people that will be managing this would also be people of integrity. I know that, there are several issues when people say, the people accessing the loan, will they use it well, how the criteria, and requirements and stuff like that. But I believe that, that first step of identifying that, we need this in education to move the nation forward, he would also get people of integrity, people that have done stuff like that before, that have proven, their capability in stuff like this, so that we won't just have people that can't manage, this kind of commitment. And definitely, like you said, the students that would also access this as well should also go through a process where, at least we know that you need this, and you would be able to give back, as in you'll be able to give back to the nation. I'm not saying, okay, you necessarily have to work in probably a government parastatal or something. No, but at least you will be able to give back. Even if you have your own private company, it will be beneficial to people around you. It will be beneficial to the government as well, for national development.
This certainly is some way. A loan is a debt, and certainly there is a way you just have to pay back. So some are worried that if I get this loan and I'm done schooling and I don't have a job, because we know the unemployment rate, and with some people who are also looking for means to get a job to be gainfully employed. So if they're not able to pay this back, how do you feel? Do you not feel this might deter some people from wanting to access the loan in the first place, because they do not know what is waiting for them on the other side of their studies?
This is very interesting. Thank you so much for that question. This is very interesting, because that, in the beginning, I said this has so many sides. This now goes into infusing some things into our curriculum as a nation, where we just don't fix our eyes at probably the white-collar jobs alone. And I like the fact that, the skills acquisition is also included, where you're not just stereotyping your thinking, but you have a broad overview. I believe that if you are educated, there should be a way in which you can create wealth for yourself. You are not stranded. That underlines, the basic objective rather of this law, to eradicate poverty. So you going to school should not just be, I'm going to study math, I'm going to study English, but, should be able to infuse some cogent curriculum into the education system, where you are well enlightened about how to create wealth, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be someone that can create jobs for other people, not just being stereotyped. So that, we wouldn't have, the backlog of debt and people not being able to provide for themselves, not to talk of, pay back the debt.
Right, and you know, I was also about to ask how this would also impact on the school system, the university system, and you know all the other institutions of higher learning. With this opportunity that students will be getting, that undergraduates will be getting, and other intending beneficiaries will be getting. What are your thoughts on how this will also impact on learning? You've spoken about one of them just now, talking about maybe your desire to see soft skills, entrepreneurship, forming a crucial chunk of the curricula across these institutions. So what more do you hope will be addressed across our learning spaces?
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm just going to buttress on that. I see infusion of several other curriculums that would, empower and build the students. Not just, I spoke about high income courses. There's some courses you can do that are high income, so the knowledge, for the students to know that, okay, these are your options. And that, I'm going to cite an example, like, some people want to do a particular career. They want to go into a particular career. But when they look at, some of the prerequisites of the subjects required to, get access into this career, they might move back. I'm putting spotlight on STEM courses, on STEM subjects. So you want to be an engineer, it is evidence that you must, pass mathematics and stuff, But, some students say, I don't know mathematics, therefore, let me think of changing the career. But, and that's where education comes in, and interventions of experts like myself. So we go to schools to tell them, okay, if you don't understand math, these are ways and remedies in which you can learn, and math can be easy for you. And you can see that students that really wanted to change their mind from moving away from a particular course start moving towards it because they now have the knowledge. So just like that, we need to infuse that particular knowledge into students as well, so they know what is expected of them at the end of the day. They are not devoid of what the ultimate goal is.
I don't know how you see this, although this is the bill document. They've not made public the signed law, but according to the proposition that they have, they said that anyone who had access to the student loan, so you definitely have to communicate to the committee that you are gainfully employed or you own your own business.
Yeah.
So which 10% will be deducted, over time, and then in case of defaulters, they said. That's 18.6, saying anyone in default of provisions of subsection 5 or found to be aiding to default of subsection 5 commits an offence and is liable on conviction to a fine of 500,000 naira or imprisonment for a term of 2 years or both. Yeah. So I put that to you again. Do you not feel that because some people want to take the loan with the mindset that I'm not going to pay back, after all, it's the federal government and it's my money. That's what some people think. I pay tax, and I pay tax, one way or the other. So do you think that still this might not be some sort of impediment, an abatrus for the implementation of this student loan to the fullest?
I feel that, all those clauses are there as guidelines. We all know as human beings that if you don't put these guidelines in place, people are there to, just make trivial or say, exploit. Oh, it's part, yes, or exploit and say, oh, it's part of the national cake and I would want. So I see the guidelines as, yes, definitely it has to be in place to put them in check. So you have it at the back of your mind that this is what I want to do. And, I'm sorry that I'm drifting back to the curriculum, that is supposed to be infused, that will cause like a change of mind. If we have it from like probably secondary school education, where you see that mindset that is national cake, it's not, I must have my own share. You can disabuse that mind from when a child is small. It's because of, how Nigeria is and all the crises that everybody feels, I should exploit is the best way. But if we infuse this into our children, that they see themselves as an asset, they want to add, they don't want to take. You'd even, be glad to say, oh, I benefited from, the student loan, and today you can say I can stand on my feet. I'm an employer of, labor. I'm this and that. Showcasing that will even encourage other people. So the guidelines are there, definitely. Those laws are there, to put people in check. I think that is great.
Right, and this issue of skill acquisition, perhaps that may also be part of the rationale of the federal government in including this, because the issue of repayment plan, paying back has come up over and over and over again since the government, talked about all of this, even during campaign days when the government when the then president, as a candidate, was talking about what he would do to revamp the education sector. But in terms of, skill acquisition, help us to expand the topic. Would it be, or if we need to inculcate vocational skill teachings into schools, of higher learnings and all of that, help us to expand it. How do you craft this? How do you draw up a curriculum like this? And I can see you're also talking about even starting at the secondary school level.
Yeah.
How do you inculcate this into the regular curriculum to ensure that this is not something abstract, but something that someone can ride with as soon as possible?
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. You see, these skills is very prominent. I think every school, it should be infused. And, some schools are already doing this. I remember that I did woodwork. For every semester, you must do a particular skill. So it's either metal work or woodwork. Some people did catering. Some people do, just for you to have a bit of that knowledge. Some universities are already doing
like some countries do the major and the minor.
That is it.
Okay.
The major and the minor. And, everybody wants to go to school. Not everybody really, but, some people want to go to school, but some people want to acquire this knowledge. Even while you are in school, I see that acquiring, that skills as the practical side of it. So you can be doing engineering, but you need to be able to, not just the theories and stuff, but hands-on as well. So I think that skill is majorly, very, very important, especially, to equip, that is like the total package, to equip the students, with, what they can do after.
That's right. I think we are actually running out of time, and we're almost out of time though. But then it's the students, they get a loan, assuming they get a loan, they're happy, they're in class. But what about the lecturers? What about the teachers? Do you feel that this will also help in, ensuring that they give quality education? Because we need them to, those who are going to impart this knowledge very quickly.
Yes, the lecturers are like the stakeholders, and they've been on that path too, that, give the students loans so that they can concentrate in class. An happy student that is not thinking of how do I pay my fees and stuff like that, would concentrate more in class, would listen, and that's the joy of a lecturer. So I think, yes, the lecturers are, like topmost stakeholders in this, and they're very happy about this as well.
All right. We'll see how it all pans out, right? Thank you very much, Oluwafemi Dairo, the lead consultant, Knowledge Station International, for speaking with us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.